Many of us drive past the Abilene Cemetery frequently, but with the exception of an occasional funeral, have you ever just stopped to walk through the cemetery to read the names on the gravestones? There are many tales that the tombstones tell. The names of many of the founding fathers and movers and shakers throughout Abilene's 130-year history can be found not only on street signs and buildings, but also in the city cemetery. A walk through the oldest part of the cemetery is a walk through history.
I'm always amazed at the number of Confederate flags there are out here, but it serves as a reminder that, there was a whole life these people lived before they came out here and stayed out here the rest of their lives. A lot of these guys fought in the war, and they were veterans of the Civil War, and so it's just a great thing to come out and see how many of them picked their life up after that conflict and came out here and helped settle this part of the country.
Taylor County Judge Downing Bowles is a serious student of big country history. Together, we visited the graves of some people with familiar names.
Morgan Jones was big in the railroads. His name was synonymous in the early days with the railroad, and it was really the railroads that brought all of us out here.
But where those rail lines would go caused a rush of land speculation. Claiborne Merchant and his brother were raising cattle in Callahan County. Merchant began buying land in near present-day Abilene, hoping the railroad would choose that route.
He was one of the guys who invested in property, and it's very interesting to go back and look now at parcels of land and deed records and things like that, and you'll always see his name on so many of them because that was his land that he sold and developed when Abilene came along.
They're important for the historical value. Obviously, we're looking up one of the original founders of our community.
Thomas Willis was one of the first Taylor County judges.
So in the late 1870s, we saw a lot of growth in this area, and Judge Willis was one of those people who came out here looking to get into the ranching business, to make money and develop industry that way, and he got out here and he found lots of new opportunities, which a lot of people did.
If you've ever set foot on the campus of McMurray University, you've seen the name Hunt. James Winfred Hunt founded the school in 1923.
J.W. Hunt is a fine example of how this area developed. He was originally grew up in the Oklahoma Territory. It wasn't even a state yet back in the 1870s. And he finally came out here. He was a newspaper publisher for a while, came to Abilene, Taylor County. He became a minister. And while he was here as a minister in the 1920s, he developed this idea and talked to the Northwest Conference of the Methodist Church about opening a college, a religious-based college here in Abilene, Texas. And of course, everyone knows at McMurray University, the name Hunt is synonymous with anything that goes on at McMurray.
You've driven down Clack Street. You may even have attended Clack Middle School. This is the final resting place of Miss Tommy Clack. Born in a picket house on Lytle Creek in 1882, just 1 year after Abilene was founded, the First Lady of Abilene, as she was called, died in 1989 at age 106.
And finally, I like this area of the cemetery most because this is the grave of the Clack family. Miss Tommy Clack is remembered because of her long-time career in education, but more importantly, because of her memories and the recollection she had of growing up in this area and in our early history. The thing I liked was what she said about folks in Taylor County and Abilene, and that is that they were Southern gentlemen and ladies, people of refinement. They weren't the old Wild West cowboys and shoot-'em-ups like people think happened back here. I like that very much because it reminds all of us that these people came out here in pursuit of their legacy, and they found it out here. We're here today and have the things we have today because of people like the Clack sisters.
The Abilene City Cemetery is located along East North 10th Street, just east of Treadaway.